Young and the Restless comes in at 9th place in my soap opera rankings for January 2023 because both of the CBS soap operas are just the worst things on television, possibly. I think both Bold and the Beautiful and Young and the Restless might be the worst things on television. Bold and the Beautiful because the writing is so bad and awful that it's unwatchable, and Young and the Restless because it's so boring and lifeless that it's pretty much unwatchable too. Josh Griffith's writing, I've complained about it for so long now, yet we don't see any changes. He just continues to write the show into a bunch of nothing stories that don't even make a whole lot of sense. We might as well jump right into the main story and get this video over with because I don't even want to talk about Young and the Restless. The main story has been like Diane and Jack trying to get Jeremy Stark, out of town with a plan that made zero sense to me and is as foolish as the writer writing it. Basically, the whole plan was, I guess, to make Jeremy Stark think that Diane is working with him again, which didn't make sense how Diane working with Jeremy is going to make him want to leave town, but I guess the whole thing was for Jack to steal a necklace from Nikki Newman and then make it seem like Stark stole the necklace. So that's what they did, even though their fingerprints should be all over the necklace, and even though there should be footage of Diane planting the necklace on Jeremy Stark. That was their big plan to get Jeremy Stark out of town. Yeah, once upon a time this was the only story to look forward to on the show other than Ashlyn, who they killed off. It was Diane, and now they've completely just wrote a boring bad story for Diane. I don't even care about the Diane versus Phyllis dynamics anymore. They ran that into the ground because they have nothing else that's entertaining on this show. So yeah, I think this story just makes everybody look bad in the end because the writing's bad. It makes Jack look dumb and bad for continuing to be a part of all these shenanigans with Diane and come up with this dumb plan. It's made Ashley and Phyllis look dumb and bad for the way they've gone about their parts of the story. Ashley's been being played by Tucker, which I don't hate. I already said how I like how Tucker has brought a decent energy to the show, but still, it's a whole lot of nothing there too. But I did like the fact that Ashley kind of learned the truth about Tucker and his plans, and Tucker's been getting it from Ashley, also getting it from Devon, because Devon found out that Tucker was up to crap too, where Audra was concerned, kind of getting into the Winters business, I guess. And Devon and the business stories on this show, I've talked about it so much. Who cares? Does anybody watching this video actually care about any of these Young and the Restless business stories over the last several years, where they just go from job to job and position to position and there's no rhyme or reason? It doesn't mean anything. None of these business stories mean anything. They're able to just find a job so fast. Like, this show has fallen from so much grace, at one time being just top tier writing in the 80s and 90s, and even arguably the early 2000s, it was still probably the top tier writing, and has fallen to this Josh Griffith nothing burger. There is nothing about this show. It's lifeless. It is lifeless. Young and the Restless, it's more like the boring and could care less, because it doesn't seem like the writers care about. Clearly Josh Griffith doesn't care what he's writing. For years now he's just been writing nothing, and I don't think the actors care that much anymore either. A lot of them don't even seem like they want to be there, even though they're all getting paid a lot, I guess, because I've seen all these complaints online about the sets on the show, how there's a lack of sets. Everything takes place in the same few places, and it's true. So all the budget the show must have, you would think, as still the top-rated American soap opera somehow, even though I don't know how anybody watches this shit. Yet, being the top soap opera, they don't have a budget for any sets, so the actors and actresses must be getting paid well. They do have a lot of vets still on the show, but it doesn't transfer into good things to watch on TV. I did semi-enjoy Danny and Cricket having their reuniting for an episode and having some flashbacks. I guess that was a throw to the past. I do like that they continue to put Daniel in Lily's orbit, and I hope they break Billy and Lily up. Billy and Lily are going to relationship therapy, marriage counseling, and we don't even get to see it, which I don't know. That's probably a good thing because I'm sure it would just be boring anyway. But still, usually passed on soap operas. I can remember at least a few different occasions where if a couple was in marriage counseling, we would see the marriage counseling and see what happens with that. But we don't even see that. That happens off screen. And then Devon and Lily, just like I said earlier, company shit that I don't care about anymore. They have moved Devon and Abby into an actual couple. Well, I guess teasing Chance and Sharon, that's probably not going to work. And then to top it off, lastly, the last thing I'll talk about on this boring soap opera, the Sally, Nick, and Adam, who's the daddy story that I already talked about last month that was going to be starting. Like, this is just points out Josh Griffith's lack of writing and lack of ideas to a T, that the only thing he could come up with is the most basic soap opera plot for Sally, Nick, and Adam that we don't need and that nobody wants to watch. Who's the daddy story between Sally, Nick, and Adam? Could this show be any worse? Well, apparently not, because Bold and the Beautiful, somehow the writing is worse on that show. It's like, choose your worst writing. Do you want a show that just writes nothing but plots where you don't care about any character because they're just puzzle pieces in a moving plot, and the stories make no sense, like Bold or The Young and the Restless, where everything is just lifeless, a lack of ideas, and a total lack of care that's just so boring to watch. I don't know, CBS soap operas. Somehow they're still the highest rated and the most watched of the 4 of American soap operas. But by golly, are they terrible.